The Toronto Raptors select Collin Murray-Boyles with their 9th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, and today in this video I wanted to analyze who CMB is, his profile, his skills, strengths and weaknesses, and player comps, and overall how he could potentially fit with this Raptors team that is looking to make some noise in a very wide open Eastern Conference this year. So let's start with the basics really quickly. CMB is a 6'7" combo forward with a 7'1" wingspan and an 8'10" standing reach, and has the strength to occasionally play the small ball 5. Although because he is pretty short for a big man, I think he'll be mainly playing the 4 at most cases during the season. With his sophomore season at South Carolina, he posted just under 17 points a game, 8 rebounds, and nearly 2.5 assists per game. I think right away, if you just look at the tapes from his time at South Carolina, and you read the multiple reports on him that was going on during the draft week, and you hear what the analytics have to say, I think they all lead to one similar thing, that this guy, CMB, is a terrific, versatile defender who takes pride and effort on working on the defensive end. He's a very smart player, knows where to be on defense at all times, and has great IQ, and can really switch and guard all 5 positions pretty soundly. I think the potential here and the upside here for him is to make an all-defensive team one day. You know, I see the comps to those of Draymond Green, having a similar build as an undersized big man. And, CMB himself stated yesterday in an interview that he also likes to compare his defensive style to those of Aaron Gordon. He was a key factor in why the Nuggets won the championship. Jalen Williams as well, who we saw won a championship and make an all-defensive team this year. And he even said Toumani Camara, who I thought was a really surprise comparison, but also a very good versatile defender for Portland.
What elite defenders in this league do you study, and what have you taken from their game?
Watch a lot of Draymond. His switchability is amazing. How Aaron Gordon did in the playoffs was amazing. His physicality, how physical he was something that I really took key of. And then young defenders, Toumani Camara, yeah, J-Dub, just young defenders that know how to use their hands and have high IQ. That's something that I try to incorporate into my game as well.
So those are very niche but terrific comps for him, since they share similar builds to being, like a 6'7" wing, versatile defender that can really do it all on the floor. So let's go back to CMB's skill level and skill set, right, on a defensive end. So last season, he just averaged under 4 stocks a game with 1.5 steals and 1.3 blocks per game. If you look at some of the clips here and the defensive highlights, you can see that he's just so smart on the defensive end. Like I said before, he knows where to be. He has the strength and the physical tools, the wingspan to contest some shots and deteriorate some of the shots, right? So, I mean, if you think about it, pairing him with Scotty Barnes, I think it may be a weird fit offensively, but defensively, I think CMB can definitely fix a lot of the holes that this Raptors team suffer from, especially if you want to pair him with more offensive-minded players like Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter. I think CMB is talented enough defensively to help those bench lineups, along if he was playing with Jamal Shead and a Jonathan Mogbo, to be good enough to cover and help some of those guys. Now, other than his IQ for the game and his defensive ability, let's talk about his offense ability. Offensively, I think he's got a great touch and can finish at the rim pretty well for his size. He's got great hands and has the ability to finish well in traffic, shooting just over 62% from the twos alone, and I think it was around 63% from the rim and over 54% from hook shots. So he can definitely be physical and score in the paint, no problem. But what does impress me is that he can create off the bounce and likes to drive a lot and attack the rim no matter if there's a bigger guy on him, which is obviously a big plus for being a bit undersized. It kind of reminds me of when he attacks the rim like RJ Barrett, in terms of just loving to drive to the rim and have that solid body control, being physical and using his arms to sort of extend and create that separation from the defender and then finish well through traffic. It's honestly something that I'm really excited to see for this year, and I'm really high on his finishing. And how much can that skill translate to the NBA level? It's something that I'm really excited to see, because he did shoot just over 400 attempts at the rim in college and finished at a high percentage. So yeah, his finishing ability will definitely be a positive for the Raptors, and again, it's something that I'm really excited to see translate at the NBA level. So the only thing that's obviously a concern for me, and I think for a lot of people when you look at his game, would be his shooting. Now, he shot 9 for 39 in his past 2 seasons with South Carolina, and in the draft combine, his shooting didn't look the best. But you have to believe that this will be something that will be worked out as he himself and even Bobby Webster mentioned that, he knows that this is an aspect of his game he'll have to work on. So, although the shooting might not be there from the get-go, it might not be there from day one, I still think that with the right lineups Coach Darko puts him in, he'll be able to do just fine offensively with his finishing and playmaking abilities, making the right reads no matter where he's placed on the court. Honestly, a lot of people like to compare him to Mogbo, but I don't really see the similarities there. And if anything, I'd honestly have him above a guy like Mogbo in terms of offense and even defensive capabilities, right? He's just a better finisher and driver, whereas Mogbo really isn't putting the ball in the floor like that, really isn't creating for himself like that, as most of his buckets are really just assisted or putbacks from being in the right spots and finishing off the catch, right? Like CMB, definitely has more versatility in terms of his offensive game compared to Mogbo. I think too, no matter where you put him on the floor, whether he's in the short roll, the dunker spot, he always makes the right decision and whether to go for the bucket or make the right read and deliver the extra pass. So yeah, moving on to where I see his overall fit with the Raptors. Obviously this is a really Raptors-y pick, being a versatile defender with questionable shooting. But I think, like he mentioned himself, that he'll do the dirty work that can benefit a guy like Brandon Ingram, a guy like Scotty Barnes, or even Emmanuel Quickly, who'll set screens, roll, be an effective play finisher, and can be used as a hub for dribble handoffs, kind of what like Jakob Pearl does a lot for the Raptors, and fix a lot of the defensive holes on the wing, especially since, guys like RJ, Ingram, Jacoby, Grady, or even IQ, those guys aren't necessarily plus or above average defenders. So I think you can easily plug CMB anywhere in Darko's lineup and he'll just have a positive impact right away on the defensive end, and really also get to showcase his versatility in his offensive finishing skills on that side of the floor. So yeah, that's my current profile and analysis on Collin Murray-Boyles. I don't think the Raptors got the best fit with this pick, more so the best talent available. And that was something that Dan Tolzman did mention, that that's something that they go for when they draft guys. But yeah, although there seems to be a logjam in the forward position on this team, there's no doubt that there seems to be a lot of potential there with CMB fitting and being plugged into Darko's system. And I'm excited myself to see him play with the 2024 draft guys for the Raptors Summer League team. How does he fit alongside a Mogbo, alongside Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, and Jamison Battle? That'll be fun to watch. So if you guys enjoy this kind of content, be sure to leave a like. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time when the Raptors draft the second round pick.